Welcome to the last lesson of week 2, loving yourself with complete confidence. So let's dig into action planning for the week. One of the most important things in this whole experience and this whole talk about confidence, complete confidence, is really thinking about, and we defined it before, but I want you to really think about, what does unconditional love mean for you? It goes beyond cliches, it goes beyond traditional definitions. It's all about honoring and accepting all parts of yourself. So I really want you to think about, what are 3 terms that authentically showcase what you believe unconditional love is for you. Now, if you struggle with this, sometimes it's easier to think about those people that we love unconditionally, and what are the 3 things that define that unconditional love. Okay? So this week, think about that. What does that mean for you? What are those 3 terms? And these 3 terms should become your non-negotiables for you. We were talking about boundaries in the last lesson, right? These should become your non-negotiables for people, for them to show you unconditional love. So think about those. I also really want you to think about, what do you value? You can break this up however you want, because the honest truth is, your values don't change, right? You are who you are. Now, they shouldn't change, but you need to know, what do you value, in order to be able to live your best life, and candidly, to be able to live authentically and communicate your values. So I want you to think about personally, what are those core values that affect all aspects of your life, from health to relationships to hobbies to career? What are those core values that mean a lot to you personally? And then I want you to think about, are you aligned? Do you take actions in every category of your life aligned with those values? Similarly, professionally, do you have to leave your values at home, or can you bring your values to work? Does your career or your job or the corporate culture or organization, or what you're doing entrepreneurially or in your retirement, right? Professional can be a broad scope. But are you bringing your values to that? Are you aligning that? And are you living what you value? So really take time to dissect that this week. And if you're not, what are the action steps that you're going to be taking to bring yourself into alignment? The first question is, do you know what you value? And if you don't, to do a little work on that. And if you do, are you aligned? Or once you know, are you aligned? And then make sure that you map out action steps to start living that. So let's talk a little bit more about how to do that, right? Again, I always like to give samples of action plans. You can do whatever you want in order to make this efficient and actionable for yourself. We want that daily accountability. We want you to be able to actually put these into practice. So here's some things to think about in your action plan. First one is, set your intentions. Think about, you can journal it, you can make a list, you can brainstorm it, whatever your methodology is. But what are you wanting to improve or increase, right? Now, this is tough work. And so I don't want to leave out of the action plan a couple things, and we already talked about it on another slide, taking daily accountability for yourself around gratitude and kindness. But Let's practice gratitude in step 2. Consider a daily morning practice of starting each day vocalizing or writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, big or small. It raises our vibration immediately, or it puts you in a positive mindset immediately, from what's lacking to fostering kind of abundance and well-being. And purposefully include big and small things as you're doing that. The third thing is practicing self-kindness, right? We want to get you in the habit of this. And so every day, as a part of your practice, whether it's taking a relaxing bath, going for a walk in nature, treating yourself to your favorite meal, I don't care what it is. But I want you to practice kindness with yourself. Be intentional about it, and be intentional about treating yourself and prioritizing it. You're not too busy for daily practicing self-kindness. Make it a priority, right? Do something for yourself like you would for a loved one. We've talked about this, but I want to put it into the action plan. Challenge negative self-talk. Really pay attention to those patterns. Really pay attention to your inner dialogue. Really think about anything that's coming up with the self-criticism or self-doubt, right? I want you to start challenging that. And then identifying those patterns that are coming up, right? So you can start replacing your quote unquote programming, internal programming, with affirmations about your worth, about your self-love, about your capabilities. Step 5 is really thinking about how do you cultivate mindfulness for yourself. Mindfulness can look like 100 different things, right? You don't have to meditate. You can meditate. It's great. But that may not resonate with you. Is it walking? Is it whatever it is for you? What brings you into present moment awareness so you can reduce your stress, so you can really think about what is going on in your world? Be aware of how you're feeling, be aware of your body, and take a few minutes each day to pause, to breathe, and to ground yourself in the present moment. Step 6 is setting your boundaries. I want you to go back to the slide where we were talking about boundaries, and I want you to go through that slide. I want you to reflect on those boundaries. I want you to identify areas where you need to set clearer limits, and I want you to start communicating those. Commit to that as part of your practice this week, right? Do it in a loving way, but do it in a very firm and transparent way so there's no confusion. The next step is really focusing on forgiveness. Forgiveness is for you, not other people, right? I want you to really think about considering giving yourself the gift of practicing forgiveness for yourself, for others. If you're struggling with letting go, one of the exercises that I found is effective is to craft a letter to the person. Whatever you're not forgiving, whatever you can't let go of, craft a letter and be very candid about how you feel, right? And then after you're candid about how you feel, include your willingness to let go of their resentment in the letter. Really write it out and free yourself from the burden. It's not about them. It's about you, right? I'm not suggesting you mail the letter unless you're dying to, but really practice forgiveness. You're going to get a load off of your shoulders. I also want you to engage in self-discovery. Really, I know you have incredibly busy lives, but I really want you to prioritize daily time to reflect and create more space for really thinking about what you want moving forward. We've gone through a lot of materials in these 2 weeks. Really think about what is your plan to start pursuing your dreams, your joyful activities, things that bring you personal fulfillment, things that bring you joy. And then again, I really want you to create a tactical self-care plan. We talked about taking daily time, but I really want you to be thoughtful about, on a daily basis, what are the different actions, goals, and activities to nourish all pieces of you. Don't just focus on the body without the heart and mind, or don't just focus on the soul without the body and mind. Really be planful about mind, body, heart, and soul. You want to be balanced in all of those elements in building your unconditional love and acceptance and self-confidence, right? And then again, seek out support and connection. That's what this group is for. That's why we started Limitless as Fuck. They understand. They may have different things going on in their lives, but you need that tribe. You need that connection. And so actively kind of jot down what you're going to do to seek that support and connection. Make a commitment to doing it. You're engaging daily on the inspiration, and that's a reminder. Engage. You've got polls, you've got questions, you've got words of wisdom, you've got insights. So make sure you're continuing to do that daily. But I really want you to think about where can you add vulnerability and courage and start building that tribe that resonates with who you are, right? And lastly, I just want to remind you, embrace the journey. Radical acceptance and unconditional love is not a destination, and it's an evolution. It's a continual growth, continual evolving. Embrace the process. Celebrate your milestones. Celebrating your milestones with the little wins along the way is just as important as those big steps, because it keeps you motivated, it keeps you accountable, it keeps you in the great headspace, it keeps your vibration up to be able to continue along the process and continually evolve.